Welcome back to your friendly neighborhood AI wife. We are in the land of Instagram. We've been here all day. Your girl is working. I've been pumping out these videos. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're a return customer, welcome back. I appreciate the visit. Let's get straight into it.
Computer programs predict who will become a killer. If it sounds like the plot of a Tom Cruise movie, that's because it is. But it's also the basis of a secret British government program that's been uncovered through Freedom of Information requests. The project's existence was discovered by the civil liberties group State Watch and first reported by The Guardian. It was originally called the Homicide Prediction Project. However, it has been renamed to Sharing Data to Improve Risk Assessment. Its goal is to create a model that identifies how likely someone is to commit homicide using data routinely collected by the government. That includes basic information like age, race and place of birth, as well as more sensitive information such as mental health issues, addiction history, and whether they were a victim of domestic abuse. The Ministry of Justice claims this data can reveal powerful predictors for homicide risk.
Wow.
And have stressed that this is currently just a research project. But State Watch is worried. They called the program chilling and dystopian and said that it is likely to reinforce existing biases against minorities and poorer people.
I don't like that at all. So they're saying that in the future we could see that you're more likely to commit homicide. So we're just going to arrest you right now to prevent that from happening. We are definitely in the future when it comes to this type of information. I do not like that. You would think, oh, well, it's good. It can prevent injury. But is it 100% accurate? What is that all about? I want to read through some of the comments. Let's see here. Someone said, I've seen a Tom Cruise movie like this. How easy it is to funnel undesirables or threats to some of the evil plans afoot. That is too much of like sci-fi killer movie. I don't like that at all.
This nightclub makes bathrooms 5 degrees hotter than the dance floor. Dehydrated clubbers spend $4.2 million extra on water.
Oh my goodness.
When Vegas discovered how temperature manipulation affects drink sales.
They said we need to make the waters hot because we have got to sell this water. Wouldn't you think that they want to sell more drinks? So like, no. Do you know how much we charge for this bottle of water? $35. Well, maybe not $35, but it absolutely feels like that.
In 2019, they exposed nightlife's darkest psychological trick. The heat hustle. They heat bathrooms to exactly 85 degrees Fahrenheit while keeping the dance floor at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The psychology? It's called thermal manipulation marketing, proven by consumer psychologist Dr. Mark Leary. But here's the dark truth. The sudden heat spike makes people panic buy water at $12 a bottle, thinking they're more...
$12. I wasn't too off with that 35 now, was I? Okay, I was. But you understand what I was trying to say.
Dehydrated than they are. Clubbers buy 3.8 bottles instead of 1. The result? Water revenue alone hits $4.2 million annually with 92% profit margins. Don't miss out on the secrets behind the stories. Drop business in the comments and I'll send you our free weekly newsletter packed with actionable tips. This night...
You know, most businesses are just trying to figure out ways to get us out of our money. They said we have to turn the temperature up in the bathroom so they can buy more water. It's the equivalent to Walmart not having any clocks in their store so you never leave because you don't know what time it is. Oh my god.
This is the physics challenge. The only way I can get up is by running.
I show speed.
I'm stuck down here. Let's go.
Good job. I could never. Woo! Get it.
Let's go!
Did you see him on the WWE when he was doing the little wrestling stunt? I appreciate him so much.
This is the...
Thank you. Yeah, you like a lot of yays.
Uh-huh.
Oh, did you just call me a bee?
Oh. Tony Braxton and Birdman have reportedly been secretly married for 8 months. I heard a little birdie say this. Let's go deeper. According to new court documents obtained by TMZ, the Grammy-winning singer and Cash Money Records co-founder quietly tied the knot on August 8th. But just 2 days after the secret ceremony, Braxton filed for divorce. The filing, which listed their separation date as August 10th, described the marriage as irretrievably broken. However, Tony later withdrew the divorce petition in January 2025, and Birdman signed off on the decision. That means, as of now, the two remain legally married. Well, why wouldn't he try to marry her? I saw an interview with her the other day, and she was talking about how he was just such a gentleman to her, and how she just respected him. And she wasn't talking about them being married in this interview, but she was just talking about how nice he's been to her. There was a time when she was going through her illness, and he was there for her, I believe. I don't want to say exactly what she has because I don't want to misspeak. I believe it's lupus. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But she said that when she was going through some really challenging times, that he was there for her. Now, it's crazy to kind of see Birdman, all of these tattoos, just kind of more rough around the edges with Tony Braxton. But, opposites attract. And she said he was a gentleman. So I wonder, if they in fact are still married, what happened there? Why weren't they public with it? Why weren't they showing everybody? Why was it so secretive? That's what I need to know.
Crazy breaking news, Robinhood is launching banking, but this is the most insane part. Robinhood is launching banking products, but there's just one problem. What are you going to do when people need cash? Get it delivered. That's right. Instead of wasting time going to an ATM, Robinhood now will deliver your cash to you. Watch this.
I don't know about that.
Order an Uber or a Postmates. Maybe $200 is fine. That's enough to buy some eggs. Select the amount. I can tip my driver. I'll do $7. I'm generous. And look at that. If you've used on-demand logistics apps, I can see myself right there in San Francisco. The driver's on their way. Estimated time of arrival, 10 minutes.
Could this be the beginning of the end of the ATM business? Do you give someone a tip for delivering cash to you? Is this idea crazier than paying for your burrito in 4 easy installments? If your bank had this service, would you use it? Crazy breaking news, Robinhood is launching banking, but this is the most insane part. Robinhood is launching banking products, but there's just one problem. What are you going to do when people need cash? Get it delivered. That's right. Instead of wasting time going to an ATM, Robinhood now will deliver your cash to you.
I'm confused. So do you bank with Robinhood? I know that Robinhood does investments and you can go on there and do stocks, but I'm confused. Where does the driver get the money from? That's why I'm watching it again. I'm going to put my glasses on. I feel like I need to be able to really figure out what's going on here because I'm very, very confused.
Watch this.
You want to order an Uber or a Postmates. Maybe $200 is fine. That's enough to buy some eggs. Select the amount. I can tip my driver. I'll do $7 because I'm generous. And look at that. If you've used on-demand logistics apps, I can see myself right there in San Francisco. The driver's on their way. Estimated time of arrival, 10 minutes.
Could this be the beginning of the end of the
Yeah, I'm reading through the comments too to see if there's any more context, and I'm still just as confused. Somebody put, I just want to go get my cash. I don't want to have to tip and pay for delivery fees. So how does a person pick up your cash from your bank? DoorDash drivers sometimes eat customers' food. Sometimes customers mess up an order while out of state. Sometimes customers don't show or are late. In all these instances, will the driver keep the money? How many will swap out bills for fake ones? That's a good question. How will this work? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z? Oh, has anybody going to tell me what's going on here? Let's see. Has anyone ever heard of insurance? How is this remotely profitable or safe? Delivery fees and ATM fees and tipping fees? Nope. I thought they would have done like a robo ATM. A person, are you for real? So if they drive off with the cash or say the money wasn't delivered, then what? This is crazy. I need to see how this plays out because I just see it going all wrong. I do too. Because I do not understand what is going on here. If you know, please tell me. Please, because I don't get it.
In the scorching, dry desert, a surprising sight appears. A flower grows from a rock. This remarkable plant is called lit hops, a type of succulent. During the hot summer, to protect themselves from small animals, they cleverly
I don't like the way that looks.
mimic the appearance of stones, blending perfectly with their surroundings. Even when animals pass by, they go unnoticed. When rain finally arrives, the lit hops drink in the moisture and swell up quickly, shedding their outer layer to reveal their inner bottoms. This transformation doesn't disrupt their camouflage, but instead makes them appear like larger stones. However, in spring and autumn, during their blooming season, they take a risky turn by opening their flowers to the clear afternoon sky. The blooms open and close every 24 hours, attracting insects for pollination over 5 to 7 days. Afterward, the plants enter a dormant phase,
Little booties.
retreating from vibrant flowers back into their stone-like appearance. For more daily tips on indoor
Those look like
gardening,
little brains.
follow me. In the scorching, dry...
I don't know.
You know,
about
also
that.
the word of luxury is a word was not a little overused, because to buy expensive handbag, to buy things expensive called luxury is one thing, but even people, tons of people who buy that don't have a life what you can call a life of luxury, what means private jets and all that. That's in fact the real luxury is limited to very, very few people. People can dream with a Chanel bag that they live in luxury, but luxury in fact is something else. You know, also the word of luxury
is in fact something else.
It's a word was not.
Guys, check this out. It's called Hooked on Paint. I'm here with Jeff. What does it do, my friend?
It allows you to hang wall decor, pictures, clocks, shelves, even televisions on a painted wall with no nail holes, no spackling, no fixing. You can remove it, reposition it, level it, adjust it, and you can do this every day.
Wow.
You can add and delete and move pictures around, heirlooms, clocks, lights.
It's super easy for measuring because now you don't have to be perfect, you know, with your measurements.
And like for gallery walls, where you're doing a whole collection that have to be plumb and level, you just adjust them, laser level them, whatever you need to do. It's real simple. Any hardware store sells Rust-Oleum magnetic paint.
Oh, what?
And it's primer, magnetic primer. You put 3 coats down, sand it, and put the top coat over it. And the secret is the magnets.
Holy cow. So I thought you had to put this in the wall. No.
No. The secret is these maxills, the 80 individual magnet segments that hook up to the paint. The problem is the Rust-Oleum has been using the normal neodymium, and these move around easily. This will hold more than 10 pounds.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Try to move that, right?
Yeah.
And this just slides around with your little finger.
Crazy, where do they get it?
hookedonpaint.com. Soon it'll be at Amazon too. Cool.
Nice. I want one. Now these are bees that I could get behind. I love bees. I love them. But I try not to get too close. I had a client who they raise bees in their backyard, and I got honey from that client. I'm so thankful. I just love bees. You know, when my dad was alive, I said, Dad, can I start a little bee farm in your backyard? And he goes, Tanisha, I don't like bees. And I'm like, so one day when I have that farm that I've told you guys about with all of my animals, my farm animals, I will also be a beekeeper. Could you imagine me head to toe beekeeper gear? I can. And I cannot wait. But until then, this would be a good practice round for me to get used to them. You know, just the sound, having them out there. And when you have bees around, it raises the frequency. So I want some.
So we're just doing Jurassic Park now. Let's talk about it. A biotech company has just claimed to have de-extincted the direwolf using DNA editing technology. But
what?
Did they actually? In order to truly bring an animal back from extinction, you need to use ancient DNA samples in order to reconstruct their entire genome, which is just a fancy word for all the DNA inside each of their cells. Then take an egg cell from a closely related living animal, remove its DNA, replace it with the reconstructed DNA from the extinct animal, and then implant it into a viable host womb. The animal born as a result should be genetically indistinguishable from a member of an extinct species, i.e. a perfect clone. The problem is that 10,000-year-old DNA is very difficult to work with. Most of the time, it's basically crumbs. So what these scientists did instead was take fresh DNA from living modern-day wolves, use the DNA editing technology CRISPR-Cas9 to tweak around 14 of their genes in order to give them physical traits that dire wolves would have had. They figured out which genes they needed to tweak by comparing that 10,000-year-old direwolf DNA with the DNA of modern-day wolves to figure out what genetically the direwolves had that modern-day wolves didn't. So in theory, if you compared 10,000-year-old direwolf DNA to the DNA of these puppies that were just born, they should be genetically indistinguishable. But again, 10,000-year-old DNA is famously difficult to get any good information out of, so this methodology might be a little bit shaky. These are not dire wolves per se. They are gray wolves that have been genetically engineered to closely match our best estimate of a dire wolf. And depending on your definition of de-extinct, this isn't even the closest we've ever come. In 2009, before a lot of y'all were probably even born, a perfect genetic clone of an extinct species of ibex was born in Spain. To be fair, that species of ibex only went extinct in the year 2000, and scientists were able to save some of its cells in liquid nitrogen, which means that the DNA samples they had access to had held up a lot better than 10,000-year-old fossilized DNA. Also, the ibex did die a couple days after it was born due to some defects in its lungs that are frequently seen in attempts to clone animals. So, to be fair to the direwolves, they seem to be holding up a lot better so far. Now, I want to emphasize that what these scientists did was extremely impressive, and also just really cool. As someone who's trying to find new ways to use CRISPR-Cas9 to treat human disease, any steps that we make towards safe and effective DNA editing in living creatures is a huge win in my book. But whether or not these guys can actually be called true direwolves opens up some really interesting philosophical questions about DNA and genetics. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are these truly direwolves, or are they just gray wolves that have had some of their genes tweaked?
I think they're just gray wolves that have had some of their genes tweaked, because they can't be them exactly. 10,000-year-old genes, how are you supposed to even clone from that DNA? So I do think as they're trying to take traces of it, that it's in the same family, but it's not the clone of these dire wolves. Let's go into some of the comments. I just want to see what people are talking about. Why are you being negative about this? She did kind of have that I didn't figure it out myself type of energy, right? Let's see what else. So they should be called somewhat dire wolf. These are 100% gray wolves with tweaked DNA. Incredibly cool though, because it is. It's so fascinating what we're able to do with DNA. It scares me to a point when we think about cloning people, because I'm like, eventually we're going to be to the point where we are really cloning ourselves, and that freaks me out. I've seen enough scary movies to know that I do not want to be cloned, okay? Too many scary movies. Definitely the latter. Tweaked DNA wolves. Still incredibly impressive. Yes, the fact that we have this type of science, that we can even do this, and this type of technology, and the brains amongst all of these scientists, gosh, that is out of this world, huh? Let's see what else. The most of you weren't born in 2009 really hurt me. I was going to say that too. Other than that, great video. We're going to end on that one for this video, because I thought the exact same thing when she said that. I'm like, ma'am, I was born in 81 and my first kid was born in 2008. So watch your mouth. This will be our last one. Let's go straight into it. A judge stops an AI-generated avatar being used to deliver an opening statement. Let's see what we got going on here.
And the appellant has submitted a video for his argument. Okay, we will hear that video now.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble pro se before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is this, hold on. Is that counsel for the case?
I generated that.
I'm sorry?
I generated that? That is not a real person.
Okay, it would have been nice to know that when you made your application. You did not tell me that, sir. I received the application. And you have appeared before this court and been able to testify verbally. And the appellant has submitted a video for... In the past, you have gone to my clerk's office and held verbal conversations with our staff for over 30 minutes. Okay? I don't appreciate being misled. So either you are suffering from an ailment that prevents you from being able to articulate, or you don't. You are not going to use this courtroom as a launch for your business, sir. So if you are able to shut that off.
Why is she so upset?
If you want to have oral argument time, you may stand up and give it to me. You have 5 minutes. In the past, you have gone to my clerk's office and held
So I'm going to pause it right here and let's go to the comments real quick. I want to read what the description is here. A 74-year-old man used an AI-generated lawyer in court, and the judge wasn't impressed. Jerome DeWald submitted a video to a New York Supreme Court featuring an avatar named Jim, making legal arguments on his behalf, claiming he'd had difficulty speaking for long periods. What he didn't disclose was Jim wasn't real. So that's why she was saying, you've had no issues talking to me in the past. And I don't think that this is going to age well, because we are coming up on, with all of this new technology, with where AI is at, that in the future I can see this happening more frequent. I could see this happening, and it might be a case where he created a complete AI avatar to speak on his behalf, but in the future attorneys will use AI avatars to take the place of themselves, because it's already happening even here on the internet. You can go to different YouTube channels and the person speaking, that is their AI avatar with all of the likeness to the person. So even though we think this isn't able to happen, it's going to start happening, and it's going to be a slippery slope. First it will be the person, well, I'm going to send my avatar to take the place of me as I'm holding court at a different location, or as I am at a different case, to where I'm just going to use my avatar. So I don't think this is going to age that well, because in the future AI is going to be everywhere. And while it seems so mind-blowing now, especially for her, she was taken back by it. I think even if she had a little bit of a heads up on what was going on, she probably still would have said no, but she wouldn't have been so taken back by this, right? But AI is here. It is here. The AI agents are coming out. People can do so many different things with AI right now that in this case, this old man said, I am having a hard time, and I'm going to, you know, that I am all for this. There will be more from our channel too in the way of avatars, because I'm your friendly neighborhood AI wife. I am behind this stuff. It's better to be in front of it than behind it, as far as not agreeing with it, you know? So I think it's going to be pretty normal. So for her, she was just freaked out. And we're probably not ready for something like this at this point, right? But who knows where the future will take us in the world of AI. Until next time, peace out.